Welcome to this class. Today we are looking at literature review, and if you look at the research process, you realize literature review is actually the third process or the third component of research. So it's actually, we start with the identification of a research area and topic. Then the second one is statement of the problem. Then the third one is literature review, and that is what we are looking at today. Is a straightforward topic, and so I know we will be able to understand. Literature review. The review of literature involves the systematic identification, location, and analysis of documents containing information that is related to the problem you are investigating. So we are saying it should be extensive and thorough because it is aimed at, building up information concerning the topic that you are studying. So we are saying here that the systematic identification, location, and analysis of the information concerning what you're researching on. For example, if you're researching on high labor turnover, you will need to concentrate on all the information. You need to look for information that is talking about high labor turnover. Identify, locate, and then analyze. What do you need to put? What do you need to know from whatever you have read? If it's a topic about stress management, again, you try and identify what has been written about stress management. You locate and then you analyze the information. What do you want to know? Maybe you want to know about the definitions, how different writers or authors have defined stress management, and then you also want to look at the theories, perhaps of stress, and then you're trying to put all that information together because it is going to help you as you continue with your research. So what is the reason as to why we normally carry out literature review? One of them is to determine what has already been done. And determining what has already been done helps you to avoid duplication of research findings, or doing a research that has already been done. There is no point. So you avoid duplication. And then you also are able to know how are, how are research results interpreted. And that one you can only be able to know how they're interpreted because of the fact that you have read what other people have, how the other people have interpreted the results. What is it that they were reporting on? What is it that they were emphasizing on? And so on and so forth. Then you are also able to avoid mistakes that other researchers have done there before. So when you read about a certain article, you will see somebody trying to suggest that for this kind of research, this was the best method. And this is not the best method of, let's say, collecting data or even sampling. So if there are mistakes that they have done, they are able to declare them and you're able to read about them when you are doing your literature review. Anything that was beneficial to them will also be declared as you do your literature review, so that you are able to carry out your research in the best way possible, using the best data collecting methods, the best sampling methods, the best procedures for your research, because you have already read what other people encountered when they were doing that particular research. This is just a diagram to help us. From the literature review, you are able to find out, are there gaps in what has already been studied? Is there something that all these authors have not been able to cover? Now that is a gap. You are also able to show the relationship between certain variables and the theories. That is also important. So literature review helps you to identify what has been done, what has not been done, and things like that. More purposes, perhaps just a few. It also helps you as a researcher to limit your research problem and to define it better. When you read about what other people have written, you're able to define your research in a better way. Even new approaches and new ideas you can be able to benefit from them when you continue reading what other people have written concerning that particular topic. Maybe they did it 5 years ago. Maybe they did it 2 years ago or 1 year ago. They may have new ideas that perhaps you have not even been able to think about. So you're able to incorporate them in your research. Now, another one is any approach that was proved to be futile, any approach that didn't work for them. You are able to gain from that kind of an experience. For example, somebody may have used observation method for a particular kind of research. They may advise you that observation method was not the best. You may try interviews or you may try questionnaires. Then you're also able to come up with recommendations for further research because of the literature review that you have read from other people's work. And then you're also able to benefit with procedures or approaches that are likely to help in your current research. So there are so many purposes of carrying out literature review. So how do you do it? You familiarize yourself with the library. It can be an e-library or it can be a physical library. So get to know which books are kept where. We have so many books in a library. We have health sciences books, we have management books, we have theology books, we have social studies books, we have all these kind of books. So where are they in the library? Or in the e-library, what materials can you be able to read on? Or what journals are good for a particular kind of a subject? And then after that, we are saying that you make a list of the keywords or phrases that can be able to guide you. If you're researching about, let's say, stress management in an organization, stress becomes a keyword, management becomes a keyword, or both of them. And then, is it in an institution? Is it a county? Is it a school? That also becomes another keyword. So this one will help you be able to summarize the information that you are looking at so that you only get the articles or the books that are relevant to stress management, if that is what you are researching on. Or you are able to concentrate, or let's say if you are researching about high labor turnover, you are only able to get materials that are talking about high labor turnover. And that one becomes easy now for you to be able to get this information. So then when you get all that information, is supposed to be analyzed and organized in a particular manner so that you are able to come up with topics, with themes and things like that. So depending with what you are looking at, you could perhaps even be looking at the definitions, then you come to theories, all this empirical research, theoretical framework, all this, you are able now to get all the information because of carrying it in a specific way or in a systematic way according to the steps that we have outlined. So what are the sources of literature? There are two: primary source and secondary source. We are saying primary source are direct descriptions of any occurrence by individual who actually observed or witnessed the occurrence. Primary source, just like the name suggests, it is something that you have witnessed as an individual. It is not reported. It is not written in any book. It is not recorded somewhere. You are simply sharing your experience. While secondary source, we include now publications written by other people who are not the direct observers of what was happening. And so from secondary source, we get secondary data. From primary source, we get primary data. Then there are very many examples of secondary source literature. We can have theses and dissertations. These ones you'll find in the library. We have government documents like constitutions. So many. We have got books that are there in our libraries. We have got journal papers or papers that have been presented in the conferences. We have got abstracts, reference section in the library, the internet, and all these. They are all sources of secondary sources of data. And so it is important for you to familiarize yourself with the library. It could be an e-library. If you have challenges with using an e-library, please consult our librarians. They will help you know how to access maybe articles for a particular topic that you are researching on. If it's a competition, they'll help you to know where do we get those resources in the e-library. If it's a physical library, then it is well labeled. And you can use any of this, like you have stated. You can look at a dissertation, you can look at a government document, you can look at a book, depending with what you are looking at or what you want to research on. There's also an Africana section, a reference section. All this can help you to be able to get a literature review. So thank you so much for listening to me. I hope and pray that you will have a blessed day and a blessed evening. Thank you so much.